Hey there, everybody. I'm back. I'm no longer sick, so I can finally get another devlog out here, and you don't have to listen to my voice sound even worse than usual. So the first thing I want to talk about in this devlog, before I start taking it in a different direction than usual, is I want to talk about a gameplay function that I might be changing here, and I would kind of like to hear your feedback on it if possible. And granted, this is kind of hard for you to have an opinion on without it being in your hands and for you to get a feel for it yourself. But here's the thing. I've mentioned in the past that when you do a wall jump or a dash jump, it is extremely hard for you to change direction. See, that entire time I was holding the opposite direction. I'm going to jump here. I'm going to hold left as hard as I can. Oh, sorry. I'm going to wall jump and hold left as hard as I can. And I still end up on this wall. It doesn't even seem at all like I was changing directions because you have very little to no friction when you're in a wall jump. And the similar thing holds true during a dash jump. See, it took me that long to be able to get back to the wall. I might be removing this function and just having all types of jumps behave like a regular jump, like I'm doing now, and you can change directions very quickly. I'm thinking about this because I think that it might just end up being very cumbersome to have wall jumps and dash jumps behave this way, especially in high-pressure situations in which it's very important for the player to have full control of all of their movements. I think they might end up being inhibited by this feature. I don't think that it's going to end up enhancing the gameplay like I had envisioned, so I might just end up simplifying things, making things feel more simple and snappy for the player by just making it all behave like this. If you have thoughts on that matter, please let me know what you think. Yeah, that's something I'm thinking about in regards to the actual gameplay. The other purpose of this devlog that I was thinking about was talking more about my why for this project, why I'm doing it, what I'm hoping to gain from it. I've mentioned this in the past in passing, but I was thinking about getting a little bit more in depth about it, so let's see what my stream of consciousness pulls out for us today. And I'm going to try and not blabber on too much about this because it's not a hugely important subject. Like, it doesn't really matter why I'm doing this as long as people enjoy it. That's the main why, because that's my greatest joy in life. But I just kind of felt like talking about it, so here goes. My whole life I've wanted to be a game developer. I've had so many different fan game ideas throughout my life, and none of them ever panned out or even really got off the ground because I have always been an idea guy. And I've never had the moxie to actually pull through with anything. After I finished the first season of The Dragon Prince, soon after it came out, I realized that the hyperfixation I was experiencing while thinking about the show and the grip it had on me in my everyday life was a little bit different than all the many hyperfixations I've had in the past, especially when it came to Sonic the Hedgehog. That was my first and most powerful lifelong hyperfixation, and it really led me onto the path of being a creator in the first place. But I think where The Dragon Prince ended up being different for me was on a somewhat more subtle, personal, psychological note, and it specifically pertained to my much more tangible efforts toward becoming a game developer and having that be a career goal. And I think the focal point of that is this. Whoa, 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 what is that? This, I sketched this in the hour before I started recording here to give you guys something to look at because this character I have drawn a lot in the last 2.5 years since I created her. This is Eva Lee. She is the protagonist of one of my original games that I have on the back burner right now because I'm not yet, I feel, good enough to create it to a satisfactory level. And if you're watching this and you are as big of a fan of The Dragon Prince as I am, you might be making some connections here. This is, I think, one of the reasons that the show has had the effect on me that it has, was because I created this character from the core of my heart, and I've been exploring so many very personal things with this character, and I've had so many things that I want to say with her. And then I saw Rayla, And Rayla just embodied so much of everything that I was experiencing on a very personal level while I was fleshing out everything about Eva. I made this character more than a year before the Dragon Prince first aired, and the similarities are insane between Rayla and Eva, right down to this vest thing right here, the dual-wielding swords, and even the intense aquaphobia. They both share that. It was mind-boggling to see Rayla just like hit all these bullseyes. So a few months after I finished the first season, I got the idea to try practicing some sprite animations using Rayla, and of course the idea came, as it always has throughout my life whenever I do something for fun. My brain just goes, now, how could I turn this into something incredibly overambitious that I will almost certainly fail at? And thus, Project Xadia was born. At first, it was just going to be some random tiny little game modes and mini-bosses, and then I wrote a script for a story mode, and it just went to a downward spiral from there. Oh man, I don't love this sprite quite as much as I used to. So I think part of the reason why all of the ups and massive downs in this project not causing me to abandon it in short order like all the other things that I've started in the past is because Project Xadia is extremely parallel to the ideas that I am most passionate about bringing to life in professional, marketable, original IPs. Rayla's gameplay in Project Xadia was the perfect opportunity for me to test out the panic meter, which was originally just something that was going to be in her game because she is super afraid of water, and also practice implementing weapon attacks and the climbing physics, which is something that's going to be in another game that I am planning very meticulously during this time. It just all really, really worked out, and I'm having a blast figuring everything out. It's been such an amazing experience. I am hopelessly enslaved by a love of people-pleasing, and it's tougher to work on these original projects that haven't broken any ground yet because it's much harder to reach people with them when nobody has had any reason to love them yet. And there is the very real and harsh possibility that even when I spend all the years working on them and getting them to their very best versions of themselves and finally releasing them to the public, that they never go anywhere and get bought by like 20 people. So not only has Project Xadia been such an immaculate way to practice for these projects, it's been this unbelievably satisfying way of connecting with fans, and it's been truly just a gift. And I want to take this opportunity to thank any of you and all of you again for watching this, providing any feedback, or giving any support in any form while I've been working on Project Xadia, because even if you just leave like a heart or say, oh cool, just even if you think it's something insignificant, it's been such a huge deal to me in my everyday life. Seeing how this work has actually been impacting people in a positive way, and that's absolutely everything to me. So I'm so grateful to all of you, and I can't wait to continue on this journey and hopefully bring to you products of relative completion that, even if they don't bring you the absolute best user experience, we can share an experience of growth and love of this incredible IP together, which is an amazing thing to be able to experience as a living being. I'm gonna regret doing this, but I'm gonna find some early artworks of Eva here. Oh god, what are we gonna show here? Well, first, this is another piece of art from the period where I was starting to improve as an artist and be able to make pieces of art that didn't burn people's eyes out. This is a piece that expresses two very important aspects of Eva's life, which is her aquaphobia and her asthma. She's asthmatic, and she can experience panic-induced asthma attacks. So this is Eva attempting to find her happy place and succeeding? Alright, now let's dig into the trash can. Hey, at the time, this was like the best thing I'd ever drawn. So guess what that means? There's a lot that's way worse. Look at that ear. Oh yeah, look at that perspective. Look at that perfect anatomy in the hand. Now I'm sure that there are a lot of you out there observing this art, and thinking that I'm being unfair because maybe it's better than what you're able to do right now. And I'm sorry if you feel that way. That's not my intent at all. But this is one of the very, very rewarding things about this very long and intense training period in the last 3 years that I've been dragging myself through, is to be able to look at this and then that and this, and being able to actually tangibly understand that it's been worth it. Oh my god! Yep, we found something. That's gold. And on that note, I want to thank you all again for tuning in here and for lending me your support, lending me your enthusiasm. It really means so much to me. I can't state that enough. And I'm so glad that we can experience this together. So I will see you on the next leg of the journey next time. Dream on, friends. Peace.